This is Robo Ky. Typically, Robo Ky is considered to be kind of a silly joke character, but I took the time to grind him to the highest rank as soon as he came out. In this video, I'll share what I learned by teaching you the basics of the character, along with sharing some matches of him in action. But before we go into that, we have to talk about what type of character he actually is. On the character select screen, the game groups characters into archetypes like balance, power, rushdown, etc. And Robo Ky is listed as a unique character here, along the same lines as characters like Faust and Jacko. In practice though, he's heavily focused on mid-range neutral, rushdown, and knockdown type offense. Robo Ky uses his character-specific resource, the electric meter. Unlike his previous iteration, the electric meter is a lot easier to use and manage. There are 3 stages to his electric meter. Level 1, which is from 0 to 20%, level 2, which is from 21 to 60%, and level 3, which is from 61 to 100%. An easy way to tell what level he's at is to look at the tangerines above the electricity meter. Robo Ky starts every round at level 2. The electricity meter affects his special moves, of which he has plenty. For example, he has his old rockets from Guilty Gear Accent Core. At level 1, it travels but eventually falls and kinda gives up and goes straight to the ground. At level 2, it works basically the way you would expect a typical fireball to work, only it has some light tracking to it. At level 3, he fires many rockets, and it can easily blow through projectiles. If you look at his electricity gauge, all of Robo Ky's special moves cost a little bit of electricity gauge to use, with the exception of his command grab, which we'll go over in just a little bit. Now, he has 3 ways of recovering his electricity meter. One is with his electricity mat, 22H. As long as he's standing on it, he can gain up to 30 electricity. Notably, this could take him from level 1 to level 2 with one use. But another method is with the scooter, Kaizen Blitz. So he actually spends electricity to use it, but he refunds himself on the second hit, for a net gain of 40 electricity points, or 30 electricity points from level 1. Important to note, but at level 3, he does not actually refund himself. You spend and get a hard knockdown. This hard knockdown is advantageous enough for him to set up a mat. Finally, he can use his command grab. This move doesn't cost anything to use, but restores 40 electricity gauge. These special moves are pretty accessible, so even though managing a character-specific resource can feel overwhelming, Robo Ky is pretty intuitive to mess around with in matches. But he also leaves a lot of room for small optimizations that feel good around the meter. I'll touch on that when we look at a couple of matches near the end of the video. By the way, he has 2 other special moves. First is Lucky Launcher. As its name suggests, it does launch, so it's useful for combos, but it's also good for pressure too. The only distinction here is level 1 versus level 2 and 3. And this means the move is very flexible as far as resource usage goes. Specifically, starting at level 2, it's a powerful launcher on hit, and it's a +6 on block guard crush, meaning he has access to powerful strike throw after using it. The other move he has is Beautiful Sky Today, and unfortunately for old school Guilty Gear players, we've already started calling this move Pony, and I know he had a pony in the old game, but like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to call it like Unicorn or something. Anyway, this move puts him airborne, and it gives him some aerial movement. To be honest, at level 1, I don't really know what it's supposed to do because he can't really cancel out of it very quickly, nor can he move around that much. But starting from level 2, he gains the ability to attack quite quickly out of it, with level 3 being the most extreme movement and fastest canceling. This move has applications for offense, neutral, combos. It's a pretty open-ended move. So Robo Ky uses a combination of mid-range pokes, his high dash speed, and different tools depending on his electricity meter in order to control the pace of the match. Typically, you could split a fighting game into 4 overall phases: neutral, offense, defense, and knockdown. So next we're going to look at each of these from Robo Ky's perspective to see what we should kind of try to do when playing him. For starters, neutral. Robo Ky plays a pretty effective neutral game, primarily since he has options at all positions on the screen. His core pokes are Far Slash and 5H. 5H in particular is quite huge, and at -8, it's safe to reversals as well. He also has a good amount of lows as well. His 2S is low, which not all characters have, and he has Sweep, which seems to have a low profile, but it's kind of hard to actually like use effectively, but it is fast and has good cancel options like Lucky Launcher and the Missile. His ground normals do have some notable recovery on whiff, so you can complement them with his jump. His jump H in particular is really good. This move hits from quite far actually, and you don't have to press a button, so you can use his jump to complement his mid-range game along with his big normals. You can move between positions pretty quickly as his dash is pretty fast, but his backdash is standard at 20 frames. Anytime someone is waiting you out, you can quickly set up the mat for some free meter, and then try to fire rockets to set up some advantage. Remember that both level 3 and level 2 rockets have some light tracking as well, and keep in mind that there's a small dead zone for both of these moves. Level 1 rockets might not really have like the full screen presence, but it is an effective wall since his projectile goes all the way down to the ground. Finally, he has strong anti-air options in things like his standing jab, which hits from surprisingly far, along with a traditional 6P. He has an unusual anti-air in 2H, which is a rocket that explodes on the upper end of normal jumps. This move is quite effective in the corner if used well, but mid-screen, it could be tricky to use without meter, so try to be careful when using this. Next, let's look at offense. So the first really unique thing he has is 2H. The rocket is a projectile, so if you recall Asuka's sweep, he isn't affected by the hit stop of it, so you can create unique advantageous situations with this move. The most common thing you'll see people do with this right now is set up into pony, and you can do high-low off this, or just keep your offense going. If you choose to do it, you do it with JS. This is a multi-hitting overhead, so you can do a couple of hits and cancel into low. The rocket being a projectile also means you go to Lucky Launcher with no pushback, even on faultless defense. So compare this to this, or this. You can use close slash and dash cancel into it, but you'll still be pretty far. So 2H is uniquely strong for this situation. Since Lucky Launcher is +6, your opponent cannot throw, as there's a 1 frame gap between the launcher and close slash. If you want to hit reversals, you want to use 2K. It will black beat like this, meaning you hit them standing, as most people are going to try to buffer their reversals to come out as soon as possible. Of course, if you think they'll block, you can simply grab them again. Small note, but his command grab is actually a half circle back input. Something that will help you get closer is to do half circle back forward dash plus K. Rather than trying to dash into the command grab, instead, you'll get this and be out of range. When you do command grab them, 2H is an easy way to set up offense again. And from this 2H, you can either pony like before, or do another Lucky Launcher. Otherwise, his offense is pretty standard for now. Here's a 12 frame 6K, making it a 1 frame gap from kicks, and a 3 frame gap from jabs. And his close slash is standard at +1. Don't be afraid to actually push yourself out. His far slash is actually quite big, and so is his 5H. And from a distance, your rockets are going to be more advantageous. So for example, in this position, you're going to be at +18 even though it's a level 2 rocket. So you have plenty of time to get back into an advantageous position. If you feel safe enough, you can set a mat from this distance as well. Next would be defense. Many players noted that the starter guide for Robo Ky did not mention that he had an invincible reversal at all, and that is because, well, he just doesn't have one. Instead, Robo Ky has to rely on universal tools, like a 5 frame crouching jab, his standard backdash, jumping, and reversal throw at 2 frames. This means that you, as a Robo Ky player, will have to make good use of other system mechanics characters might hesitate to use, like Deflect Shield, which is pricey at half your burst, or YRC to escape tough positions. Finally, we move to his Knockdown. He has a highly advantageous throw that easily sets up mix-ups. If you're at level 1 for some reason, I highly recommend setting up the mat, and really just running up with whatever you can. He also has a simple high-low he can do by whiffing 2 jabs and canceling into either air dash back jump H or sweep. If you have more gauge, you could try to run up and do 2H after setting up the mat into a high-low, which would look something like this. Off kick into sweep, your typical go-to will be the mat. You can again use 2H here, or you could just neutral jump for a safe jump. Off uncertain soft knockdowns, meaties like 2F and 2D are super easy to time and confirm. If you feel like you're close enough, you could try to sneak in a 2H here too. What's really nice about all of these is that it's super easy to hit backdashes, and especially if you use 2H, it's very easy to fix the combo. As far as combos go, outside of 2K2D into mat, you can actually combo into Lucky Launcher at level 2, and extend and refund yourself if you want. My personal recommendation would be to not do the combo most of the time though. And this is because your opponent can burst when you spend your resource, leaving you at a disadvantage. Your close slash B&B is what you're going to do in a lot of situations. For example, if you RC, you go into the 2H into the mat set. So this is a great combo to just start with him, and then as you play him, you can refine, think about small electricity optimizations, and even start doing combos where you go into pony slash air combos. Okay, hopefully that all made sense. I want to go into a couple of matches from my Vanquisher run with him, as I got him to Vanquisher already on day 1, to kind of elaborate on what I mean in some of these situations. So to the surprise of no one, I played a ton of Robo Ky mirrors, and I'm going to be on the right here. So a lot of what my game is going to be is trying to play mid-range with level 2, then using the mat to get a little bit more resource so I could make the most of my mid-range tools. Here, I actually was not aware yet that you shouldn't always do the combo if they have burst, so I did it. And it's a little sequence to try to get resource back. Now I'm going to box him in the corner by baiting a lot and trying to use neutral jump and ID back with my big JH. But they wisely use 2D and try to get a confirm. From here, I set up, and I know I don't really have a high level, so I can't go into a mix. And I pull up with 2Ks here. With the mat on, I can now do a quick high-low, and because of the resource, I try to go for a combo to break the wall. Oh my god, I cannot tell you why that happened. There's an example of the combo. Into an air throw. I don't have resource, so my neutral is going to be pretty limited. And we both set the mat to try to get some resource. I start the round with 2D, so this is a pretty fast low that's easy to confirm, and get away from the throw. Here I go for a high-low, and do the combos. Would refund me if I was at level 2. So I stand in here, get a little bit, and I use my meter here to give me some meter. I set the mat, and play right at his face. The tracking on the rockets lets me set another mat, and I'm just controlling the corner, walking back, using my massive 5H to whiff punish. Now I have plenty of resource, we're both at level 2. Pick up the middle screen, I use my fireball as a poke, and use a scooter as a neutral skip, and react with command grab when I see a whiff. Okay, I'm blocking because I'm not really sure how to think of his pressure yet at this time. I use the rockets to let myself get a little bit more meter. Move into space. He does this into dust, spends 100 meter. A lot of people were using dust day 1. You know, it's day 1, so good. I don't think he needs to really use it like that though. Here I'm going to be controlling space again with jumping. So now we're in mid screen. I have Fuzzy Bash, and from here I get a high-low. He uses the Flex Shield. I try to whiff punish, using the slowdown, but in the end I use ID back JH to stop their approach. Later on, I continued to play the beer in ranked, but this time I'm the blue color. So I get knocked down pretty quickly. I'm trying to make sure I can get out the corner. I whip punish with 5H. So I used the rockets again to set up mat so I can have a little bit more resource, but I still ended up being on the lower end of level 2. I skipped the command grab, and it's a little weird to... We don't really have a punish yet for jumping grabs. I gotta run under into refunding myself. After getting a little salty if I get a wake up thrown, I fuzzy jump to escape, and they burst too soon, so I end up blocking their burst. So from here I'm gonna get a hard knockdown, which I'm not like super familiar yet at the time of like, oh, the level 3 is hard knockdown. But I used the 2K2D into Lucky Launcher to get a counter hit. So we're playing around projectiles, and now we're both in level 1, so he goes for a throw into mat. So here he should get a good amount of resource back. It should be pretty scary. So he uses a scooter into RC, and I burst, because now we're both at level 1 again. I use a scooter to pull up, and end with a simple combo. But first I start with sweep again, because again, the reward is high and counter it, and it's fast. They get a quick throw on me. They don't really do anything with it, except for like a charge dust. I get another counter hit with here, 2K2D Lucky Launcher, and now I'm in level 3, I'm chilling. So here's a nice easy confirm. It's a drop into a combo I showed you earlier, but it's all good. I have a knockdown, so I do this. Here I use the pony into high, and combo into launcher to kill. Finally, a non-Robo Ky mirror. Instead, it's Robo Ky versus Ky. I start with 5H for return, and the pony ends up working. I missed a safe jump there. So I run into his buttons here, and I'm kind of just looking for an opportunity to strike back with sweep or 5H, but he doesn't really give me one. 2H keeps me in the corner, and I'm at level 1, so I feel particularly useless, and I set a mat to get some meter back. Escaping out the corner, now I feel pretty good, and I try to navigate my way out of their offense, but I can't really do much. They keep me in the corner even though I try to counter poke with 2D after the 2-4S, and the 2S hits me from downtown. Out of jump H, I try to use 6P to counter Kai's offense, but it doesn't really work out. So first I walk back to Wake because his 5H is huge and I can whip punish with it, and I use 2S to catch their backdash after a soft down. Here I go for high-low, but I'm a little too far, it feels like. And I use raw stun dipper to get a knockdown. From here they overextend a little bit, so I get my high-low. The low has a great benefit of it hits reversal throw too, and I, disagree with how people play on ranked, so I went for the anti-throw option. After command grab, I used Lucky Launcher to do offense. And here I wanted to BRC so I could get an electric mat, but I can't do that much. They avoid my anti-air air throw, and I work on carefully trying to make my way out the corner. Slowly but surely I make my way out, but they use reversal throw to get me down, but they don't really do anything with it. Instead they go into DI. I have no idea what to do about this, and I'm in level 1, so I'm like, what do I actually do? Charge CSC again, and I block the low. They get the upgrade, which lets them RC the stun dipper into another throw. I really want to hold my resource as long as I can, but I managed to escape. Reversal 6P, in the air gets me. I hold my ground, but since they decided to do a raw stun dipper, for whatever reason, I get a run-up throw that's going to punish and steal the round. I start with dash 2K into mat, so I'm feeling great, and they block my low. I use Lucky Launcher a couple times and set the mat so I can get some resource back, and I'm feeling pretty strong. I'm still in level 2, so there's a lot I could do, but they get hit by the sweep, so I can't really use Lucky Launcher. So I use BRC to set up a mat and keep my pressure going. At level 1, Ky has the advantage here, but I have burst, so I have a way to get my resource back. I forget I'm in level 1, which is pain, and I block Futurok crouching, so Kai's plus, I didn't realize. Lucky Launcher here is going to give me some resource though. I set the mat again right in his face. I use 2K2D into launch to try to end the game. At level 2, I'm feeling pretty good, and I just camp with ID back JH and win the round. Overall, I found Robo Ky to be actually pretty strong, which is pretty uncommon because typically in this game, we expect that there's only one strong DLC character, and Jam is already pretty good. So most people thought that he was going to be bad on release. Now, there are whispers of him being like busted, like an actual really good character. Verdict's still out on that. I want to see how he ends up developing over the next couple of weeks to month or so. But for the moment, I definitely think he is a strong character, bare minimum. Alright, that's Robo Ky. So I streamed him day 1, and I'm going to continue streaming him because I think he's actually a pretty strong character. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave them in the comments below. We not only do free content and early content over on Patreon, so early videos there, but I'm also moving coaching to there as well. So if you're interested in Guilty Gear coaching or any fighting game coaching, you can do that all over on Patreon at patreon.com/LordKnight. I stream on most days at twitch.tv/LordKnight. We play the game, practice the game, talk about fighting games, and also do content for my second channel, LordKnight Chronicles. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.